So, a quick review of order of operations, which I know all of you are familiar with, but I still think it's worthy of the small investment of time to go over some of the particulars. Most importantly, that when we are approaching seeing adding and or subtraction in an expression, that we need to make sure that we deal with those left to right. So you can see here, say, for example, with number 11, there's some subtraction, there's some addition. We don't naturally go to the addition first as we approach it. Likewise, when we see multiplying and or dividing showing up in an expression, both of those showing up, we also move left to right. So I see that. Um, Down in number 14, now naturally the multiplying does come first, but if it did not, then I would move left to right, taking the first step of multiplying or dividing before I moved on to the next step of multiplying or dividing. So just make sure that we are moving left to right as we go across with adding and subtracting and with multiplying and dividing. Second of all, I want to make sure that we understand that GEMDAS is oftentimes better viewed as a hopscotch board. So I still, by the way, my G is grouping. You notice I'm not saying PEMDAS for parentheses, I'm saying GEMDAS for grouping because there's other ways of grouping things together other than parentheses. Nonetheless, we still always start off with our grouping and our exponents. Then we move on to our multiply and or divide, but we make sure we move left to right. And then we move on to our adding and subtracting. Notice again, I'm putting those left to right and I'm drawing an arrow. So this is just a quick visual reminder that with order of operations, those groupings of multiplying and dividing, we move left to right, and for adding and subtracting, we move left to right. So with that being said, let's actually pick one of these expressions and we will go ahead and take it step by step following order of operations. So as I go through, I'm going to actually do number 12. That will be the one that I'll work through with you, and everything else on this sheet will be for you to do independently. Um, I don't see any real groupings. I know you could argue that the parentheses here, again, are grouping, but the parentheses, as we've talked about, only serve the purpose of saying that number is negative. So we can ignore the grouping and move right on to the exponent. And I want to be careful because I know that -4, when it's multiplied by itself, is going to give me 16, not -16. And it's going to be subtracted from the 4, and then everything else you see here follows. So this is where we might get too caught up in thinking left to right, where we might automatically move to 4 minus 16 plus 4 before, and then just keep moving in a left to right fashion. But we know that we need to stick to order of operations. So the next thing we must do is the multiplying. So the 4 times 6, that's 24. And that's going to just fit into everything else in the expression. And now we are ready to move left to right. Notice I have subtraction here, so the subtraction will naturally come before the addition. So when I continue on, 4 minus 16 is -12, which we will add to the 24 and then subtract 4 from. Continuing left to right, I know that -12 plus 24 is 12, which I will subtract 4 from. And once I am done, I should get an answer or an outcome of 8. So that is making sure we stay true to order of operations. Again, I think this is well within your comfort zone, so this is a quick review. Everything else on this page, I would like you to finish up on your own, showing all steps, sticking to the order of operations, and just make sure to circle your answers as well. And make sure when we come to class next that you have this printed and completed page for us to review in class. We'll see you soon.